I'm Rich Samuels, and this is a story about a man named Abe Stolar. The important thing to remember about Abe is that he was born in Chicago in 1911. That in 1931, his parents, who were Marxists, took Abe and the entire family to live in Moscow. They were in search of a worker's paradise. But in 1937, at the beginning of the Stalinist purges, Abe's father disappeared, never to be seen again. His sister was sent to the gulag. Abe was trapped in Moscow for 58 years. But during that period, Abe retained the most vivid images of his hometown. This story is about Abe and about the dream of a 19-year-old boy realized by a 77-year-old man.
I wanted to see America first. That was the slogan in those days.
I'm seeing it last instead of first, but at least I'm seeing it.
You're one of the most important people in my life.
The dream was realized July 4th of this year when Abe Stolar returned to the city he last saw in 1931.
Hey, I worked around here. Is there still a Federal Street?
Yes.
And is there still the, it used to be the Polk Street railway station.
No.
They took it down. Well, I worked right across the street of the railway station.
It was a city that had changed since he last saw it. Abe was only 19 when his family moved to the USSR.
You know, we had streetcars all over the place then. Practically every street in the loop had a streetcar.
But it was a city Abe couldn't forget, even though the chances of returning to it had seemed remote. Would you like to see Chicago again?
Of course. I dream of it.
Moscow, the fall of 1986, an apartment on Moscow's southwest side. Abe's old house on Chicago's northwest side, 5,000 miles away and more than half a century in the past.
I remember silly things like just walking through Humboldt Park. I used to like to walk through the Division Street part of it. Division Street cut the park into two pieces. Is that the way it is now, too?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But even in Moscow, part of Abe Stolar's present.
Sarah Lou, crossed my heart, I love you.
A predicament was part of Abe Stolar's present, too. For the Soviets said he could emigrate, that Gita, his wife, could emigrate, that Michael, his son, could emigrate. Your mother has presented some of the problems in this case, hasn't she?
Yes.
She doesn't want you to go?
She doesn't want to do anything for me.
But his daughter-in-law's mother said she couldn't go, that granddaughter Sarah had to stay.
We said we wouldn't break up our family. We don't want to break up the family. We can't break up the family.
Keeping the family together is very important for you.
Well, of course. We'll count the hugs and kisses when dividends are due, 'cause I'm in the market for you.
So in a socialist state, an old man sang songs of a capitalist tin pan alley and dreamed of a Chicago long past whose images were so compelling he couldn't forget them.
I certainly felt the city was mine. I felt that I was civic-minded. I liked everything about the city, and I liked everything I saw there. Well, I used to just walk along and look in the windows, do window shopping. Well, not shopping, actually, just looking. I think what I liked and what I looked for all the time was the artistic aspect of it, how the show windows were made up. Incidentally, I remember a show window in the fair. Do you remember the old fair? It was the working class department store on the corner of, I think, Adams and State. They had a big corner window. They had the dress that Jeanette MacDonald wore in her movie, what was that movie with Maurice Chevalier, The Love Parade? They had the original dress she wore. I doubt if it was the original. They probably had one in every city. But it was impressive. It was made beautifully. It glittered and glimmered. It was white, full of shining things on it. I remember the smell of the roses in Humboldt Park, and I remember the lilac trees there. I remember the beautiful big lawns full of flowers. We used to walk among the flowers. I still get the smell sometimes, in my sleep even, and even when I'm not sleeping, I get the smell. And it's something really precious, beautiful. I love the L. We never had to use it. It wasn't even in my neighborhood, but I love to take a ride on it anyway. I liked riding above the city, somewhere up on the second or third floor, riding fast. It was terribly fast, and the racket it made, it was terribly noisy. I used to go to all the movies there. I knew them all. If I had a talking picture of you, I would run it every time I felt blue. I would sit there in the gloom of my lonely little room
and applaud each time you whisper, I love you, love you. I would give 10 shows a day and a midnight matinee if I had a
talking picture of you.
You don't want to die in Moscow.
Oh, God, no. I don't want to die here at all. I think that's the worst of my feelings all the time lately, that I don't want to die here. After all, I'm 75 already, almost. Another couple of months and I'll be 75. And it's time to die, isn't it? More or less. But I certainly don't want to die here. I would feel that it's a terrible slap in the face, even my dead face. I want to get out.
Vienna, March 13th, the Soviets have given the Stolar family exit visas. Abe arrives in the West.
Oh, we waited so long for you. 12 years? 13 years?
A friend from Chicago greets him.
I'm in a haze yet. I still don't feel normal or natural, but it did feel great to come off the plane. It was simply wonderful. Just walking into this building, you could feel right away that it wasn't Russia. The stones are different. The floors, what is it, laid different. The faces are different. You know, people smile around here.
Yeah, we do.
It's really wonderful to be here. Great. Although I
The following morning, Abe is on the brink of becoming a celebrity.
Hello, Mr. Stolar?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Thank you, sir.
The story of his 58-year odyssey has become an international story. And from New York, there's a question.
Are you going to write a book?
Oh, I don't know if anybody will be interested in what I write.
A man
some
who has
people-
seen the Stalinism, World War II from the Soviet perspective, the Khrushchev years, and now the glimmerings of perestroika, and you don't think anybody would read the story you have to tell?
It would have to be told well, and that's the important thing. Will I be able to tell a good story? The things themselves that I could say are interesting. Well, I suppose I'd have to get a ghostwriter to make it a good story. But the things I would say are really interesting, I think.
Come see us.
And I should tell it.
Come see us when you're on your way to Chicago.
Absolutely, I certainly will.
Till then, we'll be back
Yes,
after this.
I also want to thank very much the important thing in my getting out.
In New York, it's time for a commercial.
I want to thank several groups, way down from the president down to senators. And
But
to
in
the
Vienna,
Chicago
Abe is still thanking people. His own perseverance was the primary factor for his making it this far, but many over the years joined his battle.
His case is a tragedy, an absolute tragedy, what the Soviet Union has done to that man and that family.
Senators indeed visited the Stolars.
Obviously, the family is in anguish over this thing.
And the senators who visited the Stolars made them an issue.
Abe? Yeah? Is Gita feeling better?
But it was ordinary people who called Moscow each week,
Happy birthday.
who shared life's milestones with Abe,
I hope to be a grandfather in a couple of months.
Mazel tov, Abe.
and who shared life's joys. And they took the image from Moscow and turned it into thousands of postcards to be sent to President Reagan. The president, they said, should make the Stolars an issue at the May 1988 Moscow summit.
We want to take advantage of the summit. We want to see that this gets resolved.
The politicians responded.
Let's bring Abe Stolar's case up when we have this summit meeting, and let's see that justice is done for this family.
In Moscow, Ronald Reagan and Abe Stolar met face to face. Did you ever suppose that you would meet the president?
I dreamed of it, but I never think it would come true.
Mikhail Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan met again last December. And on December 30th, the good news came.
Listen, you're going to get so many hugs, you're going to be swamped.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, every one of you. I know that this would never have happened without all your efforts.
The Stolars left Moscow the afternoon of March 13th. From Vienna that night, a call to an old friend.
And I hope someday to show you how much I appreciate all you've done for me.
Well, you are a good man, Abe Stolar. You're a fighter, and you and your family, I just can't tell you how pleased I am to have you in Vienna and in freedom there.
Okay, bless you.
Thank you. Same to you, and greetings to your family.
Tonight, I've been keeping this in my pocket all the time. I intended to put it on when we get off the plane. I thought somebody would photograph me and see it.
Oh.
I've been keeping it I don't know how many years. I suppose I'll wear it when I come into Chicago.
For sure.
I love Chicago, and I really do.
Hey, Carolyn.
Suppose you're returning to Chicago after an absence of 58 years. 58 years of exile in the Soviet Union. What do you do when you're finally home? If you're Abe Stolar, the first thing you do is thank those who made your homecoming possible.
It's overwhelming. I never thought of what it would be like when I came home to Chicago. It was just a longing, and I tried hard to get here, but I never expected all of this. This is way too much. I didn't deserve all this. What can I say, really? I can't say anything. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep up the good work you're doing.
Then, because of the incredible nature of your story, you become an instant celebrity.
God bless you all.
So at the airport, Time magazine caught Abe.
What streets are these?
In the limo on the way into town, People magazine caught Abe. And at Wrigley Field, Newsweek took note. Others did as well.
There he is. That's Abe Stolar. John Simon, or Paul Simon, rather, our senator.
Does it feel good to be back in the old neighborhood?
That's putting it mildly. It feels great. It makes me feel young. It really does. I feel 60 years younger. I swear, I feel like 16 years old. And my whole life ahead of me. Huh?
But the most significant part of this homecoming was Abe's return to his old Humboldt Park neighborhood, the neighborhood he last saw in 1931.
What is it like to walk down this street after 58 years?
It's the same thing. I just feel as if it's a dream. I'm still dreaming, and I hope I won't wake up. I hope it goes on. It's wonderful. You know, this is where my house stood.
Right here.
It was 2753.
This is your old school here.
That was my room on the corner here, the round room, in the 3rd grade.
So what's this place?
This is the high school I went to.
Abe Stolar, Thule High School, the class of 1928.
You look just like a principal should look. You look great. You look much better than I feel.
Young people, this is Abe Stolar, who went to school here, and he was visiting Chicago.
That was 60 years ago, 65 years ago. That was before your parents were born.
And he is back in the United States, in Chicago, for the first time in 58 years. And he's been trying to get out of the Soviet Union. He's out now, and this is the school he attended, right here.
How'd you get out of the Soviet Union? Yeah.
Out of there?
Yeah.
You know, Senator Simon, where is he? He helped me get out.
He stood up very courageously for what he believed. And that's a lesson for all of you. You stand up for what you believe.
Grow up strong and good and be happy. Thanks a lot, kids. You're wonderful. It's wonderful to see you all.
In the halls of his old high school, Abe recalls a dream that had haunted him for years.
You know, in my dreams, always till this day, I run around the corridors looking for the room, and I don't know where my next lesson's going to be.
In Moscow, the dream was first recalled.
and I'm always late for some reason or other. Just managing to get there just after the bell, and I run up the stairs and through the corridors, and I feel that if I get in before the bell stops ringing, I won't be late and everything will be all right.
For some reason, I'm in the nick of time, and I'm terribly worried that they'll start the lesson before I come in.
I always get there just in the nick of time and wake up before it's too late. That's bad, isn't it? Sounds like an omen.
The omen was a good one.
And this was where we studied. And there was a blackboard over here.
He wasn't too late.
You know, I recognize this spot.
What in Moscow he saw only in photographs, he now experienced firsthand once again.
You know, I haven't seen any flower plots like this in years. I suppose they have them somewhere in Moscow, but...
An extraordinary experience to those who behold it, but not to the man who walks through Humboldt Park.
No. Everybody tells me I'm a hero, but I don't feel it. I'm quite ordinary, very ordinary, nothing special about me. The only thing special is that I'm enjoying life right now. I haven't in 60 years. It's wonderful. It's like a rebirth of some kind, as if I came back to my youth.
But in that fact, there's something a bit sad. Is it a 77-year-old man who sees this tonight, or is it a 19-year-old boy?
No, it's a 19-year-old boy. It really is, so help me God it is. And it's wonderful. It's a shame, though, because at 19, you've got your whole life ahead of you, and you want to enjoy it all, love it all. But how much have I got to go on?
For Abe Stolar, Chicago was just the beginning.
Welcome.
You heard about me.
Yeah, I heard about you.
Beyond the confines of Humboldt Park,
isn't that funny?
Beyond the city limits, there was a nation to be seen and hundreds to thank. Thus,
you know, I feel so good being in good hands. It was that way everywhere I went.
Abe Stolar in Montgomery, Alabama. Abe Stolar in Detroit, Michigan.
Hello.
Abe Stolar, seeing America last, liking what he saw.
It all seems good. It's all refreshing. And it all is beautiful to look at. Everything about America, really it is. Especially after Russia, after 58 years. Things here seem so beautiful. I forgot that a place could be so beautiful.
Abe Stolar in Denver, Colorado. Hundreds across the country lobbied for Abe for years, even in Anchorage, Alaska.
Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to you, too.
A bewildering reception coast to coast.
Everywhere. This is, I think, the 8th or 9th or 10th even town that I'm in. Is it a town or a city? And they treat me the same everywhere. The press comes over, TV takes me. I think it's great. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of baloney, of course. I don't mean anything, but they make a big show out of me. They think I'm great. I don't. I'm just enjoying myself. Beautiful.
Abe Stolar in the nation's capital.
Pictures never do justice to the real thing. The real thing is always much more impressive.
And here a grateful man gives thanks.
There's no thanking people. You can't thank them enough. After all, when you're in captivity and then you can't get out yourself anyway, and the only way to get out is when a lot of people help you. What can you say? What can you do? Just thanks isn't enough to say. And that's what I feel for all these people. Deep felt thanks. It's not so much the consumption. I don't mind that. If you have a lot, go and use it, eat it. It's the waste that I don't like.
Abe ended his American Odyssey in Los Angeles with a mild complaint about our habits of consumption and an observation from a unique perspective.
I think it's all important that the American people, all people, should appreciate the treasures they have. Freedom, freedom to think, freedom to travel, freedom to do anything within their capacity, within their possibilities, to take advantage of the opportunities they have. You know, for 58 years, I didn't have opportunities, and I couldn't take advantage of any of the wonderful things that existed on this earth. If Americans appreciated more of the chance they have, the opportunities they have, I think they'd be a much more happy nation.
You know that from your own experience.
Absolutely.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
Been a long time since you sung that.